transaction manager. We have some good news today. A lot of good news actually. I found me a multifamily community to join. They do 2 lives per day. You can sit there and talk one on one with him. So basically, I'm getting a mentor um, to learn how to purchase multifamily apartments. Um, I went to one of his lives recently last week, and it was really good. This is the interface of his actual community. You can see members, events, and all these other things on the left side. So, why I joined his community, I was looking for a mentor. I was looking for somebody that I can bounce ideas off of other than ChatGPT and Grok. I wanted to really get the experience part down. And one of the things that I always learned was the easiest way or the best way to do it is finding somebody that's skilled in that area, somebody that's an expert in the area. So one of the things that I did was I sourced out a mentor, somebody that had a track record, somebody that was previously experienced in this. And this is the problem. I found a lot of people that had classes or had communities or did one-on-one coaching, but they were very expensive. So I chose this guy because he was affordable. He priced things out based off of 97. Like all his things is $97. He has his own spinoff of Prop Scream or Prop Wire. I'm not promoting any of his stuff. I'm just telling you this is the guy that helped me um buy my first, well, is helping me buy my first property. So I just wanted to show you guys this is the progress. um I'm doing multiple things at once. I'm putting it together. I'm looking for a mentor, and back to this right here. So today I spoke to a commercial lender. At first I wasn't going to speak to a commercial lender because my strategy is specifically seller financing. That's my strategy. What made me speak to a lender was going to his live. He talked about how, what, as you can see, I did a lot of research, but he talked about how the commercial loans are non-recourse. Non-recourse meaning you don't have to pay it back technically. It's not going to be against your actual personal assets. It's set up as a business. It's its own business. It's its own business entity or business income, as I should say. So as you can see, this is what really made me go back and re go over it, and listening to what he was saying. They're not specifically looking at your income. Your income is going to go in second position. In first position, they're going to see how much the actual property can generate. Then they will look at your actual income, your personal income. So I said, oh, I heard I heard Anthony talk about this so many times. They talked about this non-recourse versus recourse so many times. And I forgot all about it because I wasn't focused on it. And this is why I say it's important to brush up on your notes. And soon as as soon as he mentioned it in the live, I said, I know what that is. They were talking about it, and I wrote it down. I know I wrote it down twice because I made sure I remembered it. So I was bouncing ideas off of ChatGPT as I usually do. Um, and as you can see, this is what it said. But I'm gonna get to the juicy part. So today I spoke to a lender. Today I spoke to him. I'm one of the big. I'm one of the people where, if we're not moving the needle, I feel like we're wasting time. And I like to do things. I like to get it done. I like to do what I need to do. Uh, I'm gonna explain. So I spoke to the lender. He had told me, he gave me two options. So we're going to talk about the first option. He told me if I bring 10K to the deal, they'll fund the rest. So I had a property that I was looking at. It was a property that I actually wanted in the Nashville market. The owner was willing to do seller finance, but he was willing to cover half of it or a portion of it. They call that stacking a mortgage. So basically, you take one mortgage, and so okay, in simple terms, the commercial lender will go in second position. The seller finance will go in first position. And what the lender had told me is, as soon as I had said that he wanted to stack it, he was cool with it. He said, "Oh, okay." He was like, "Oh, okay, that'll put us in second position. That's cool." Because I told him how much the seller finance. I told him how much the owner was willing to finance. So he said that's cool. All they have to do, well, all I have to do is come up with 10K, put skin in the game, and there is an application fee. He said an application fee in the process for doing the work is 2,500. Cool. This was the second option he gave me. The second option. So when he said capital sponsor, that was the first time I heard capital sponsor. But I know what equity partner is. See, that was the first time I heard somebody say a capital sponsor. I was like, what is a capital sponsor? So I said that in my head, but I didn't say that to him because I wish I would have recorded the phone call because I told him, hey, I'm a rookie. I said, hey, I'm a rookie. I'm familiar with the real estate space. I'm an acquisition manager. I do this, and this, so I know a little bit. But at the same time, I'm still trying to put stuff together. I laid it all out there so they can understand. Hey, there's going to be things that I might, I might drop the ball on, and I'm expecting y'all to pick up the pieces because a lot of people do not want to work with rookies. Going to Anthony's 8-week boot camp, he taught us that a lot of people, some people don't want to hold hands. They want to work with only seasoned people, and some people don't mind working with rookies. You just got to be willing to ask questions and get out there. So as you can see, this is what he told me. This is what we were looking for from the beginning. We were looking for an equity partner. I kept saying with the seller finance, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to bring an equity partner to the plate so they can pay for everything. So as you can see, this is the 2,500 that I was talking about earlier. There's some more information. So I asked ChatGPT how the owner said it. He said property financial records. He said property financial package. I didn't know what that meant. I knew that you needed this. So this is what I told ChatGPT. Yes, I'm familiar with that. As you can see, I'm very familiar with that. If you're around me, I'm able to talk good about commercial property and know what certain things are. It was just they use different names. So when somebody used a different name, I wasn't familiar. I was like, "What is that?" And then once I said it to ChatGPT, and it was like, "Oh, okay, I see." So, yes, these are the things that you need, and as you can see, it's a lot. Like I told ChatGPT, um, once you're on the go, you're not going to remember everything. You're not. The only way you will once you become a seasoned person, and I'm not seasoned in commercial yet. I'm seasoned in wholesale and real estate, but I understand the commercial game. So I was like, you know what? I really want to remove, like I said, the reason why I got into purchasing a property is because I'm getting older. I want to remove my large expense from off of my expense sheet, which is my rent. So if I remove my rent and house hack one of these multifamily properties or commercial properties, now my rent is gone because now I'm living inside the property. In simple terms, I'm the boss, so I can make my own rules. So I can decide, depending on if I have an equity partner. Hey, I don't want to pay X, Y, and Z. Only allow me to pay 500 because I am the owner, so I can make the rules that I want. Yes, yes. In simple terms, one of my units um, will be producing low income, but at the same time, it's still making something I can decide if I want to or not. But long story short, as you can see, um, here's more information right here. So we're done with that part. I wanted to show you this. So we already spoke to an agent. We like I said, we've been hustling, we've been bustling, and we've been making moves. The first time the agent, she sent me over an agreement. She sent it over for a year. Um, Basically she had a year to do what she needed to do to help me out. I said, can you knock it down to 6 months? I feel more comfortable with 6 months. I don't want to be stuck in a contract for a year. A year is a long time. So she said she would do that. what I did was, sorry about that. What I did was I sent it over to my attorney. For those who don't know, I have Legal Shield. I finally switched over to the annual plan, which is good, so I don't have to worry about it on a monthly basis. Legal Shield, they help out a lot. They are a good sorry, I was gonna say financial, sorry. They, they are a good service when you're needing legal documents looked at. You have a disputation, they're good for legal situations. And if you have a super large legal situation, they will refer you to somebody that will able to help you out, and they give you like I think it was like 20 or 30% on the actual large situations. But long story short, I sent this contract over. I should be hearing something from them soon. Um, that process usually takes anywhere from 3 days to a week, depending on which state it's in. This is in Tennessee, so it will take a little bit longer since they're a large corporation in my actual business in Minnesota. So they have to draft this and send it to the attorneys in Nashville. So while that's cooking, I looked over everything. It looked pretty good. The only thing that I was uncomfortable about was the year being locked in for a year. I asked them, can they change it to 6? She did. I sent the agreement over to my attorney. I said, hey, can you clarify, is there any hidden fees? Um, can you explain a little bit more of this legal mumbo jumbo, because it is written into a legal language, so you sometimes you may not understand or interpret exactly what it's saying, so you want another set of eyes. For me, I use a lot of artificial intelligence. I ask artificial intelligence a bunch of questions, and at the same time I get my attorney to look at it. I ask them questions. Basically, I come prepared. I try to make sure I am on point at all times. So yeah, we got that done. Um, Pretty much this is the process. I plan on talking to USDA tomorrow. So my goal is to have as many backup plans, as many options as possible as I'm doing this. And the reason why I want to have as many options as possible is because, like I said, this is not going to be my only property. I plan on purchasing more property. Really, the big goal is really just getting the grist of acquiring the first property, then acquiring the second property, and helping the property manager manage the property. How I was taught, we're not going to manage it ourselves. We're going to hire a property manager to do it, but we're going to make sure their property manager does do their job correctly. Um, so that's pretty much my goal as of right now. This will be something I look forward to. Like I said, we're going to use OPM, other people's money, to acquire this property. We're not going to spend a dime other than structuring a LLC or structuring some type of legal structure around it. We want to make sure we're prepared and we're on point all times. But thank you guys. Have a nice day.